And please bring in the callers. We ask Jesus in your precious name. Amen. Oh, here we go.
It's Matt Slick Live. Matt is the founder and president of the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, found online at carm.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome to the show. It's me, Matt Slick. You're listening to Matt Slick Live. Today's date is April 21st, 2025. If you want to give me a call, you can. It's easy to do. 877-207-2276. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. You can also email me, info@carm.org, info@carm.org. And we can get your emails and stuff like that. Just put in the subject line, radio comment, radio question, and we can check it out. All right, so working on new projects today and trying to get things done. There's so much to do. And looking for video editing stuff, and I've got to be able to figure out how to do 1-minute videos and then post them to multiple places at a time. While I do the setup, the editing, the voice, I can do the camera work, all of it. I can do everything, and it's just so much to do. So please just be with me in prayer on that. I would appreciate that. And so the Pope died, and I think it's really bad news for the Pope because now I'm going to say something here. It's going to upset a lot of people. But I don't believe that the Pope is a Christian, and I don't believe that he's with the Lord. And the reason I say that is because the teaching of the Roman Catholic Church is false when it comes to the doctrine of salvation. So what it does is it teaches a false gospel. And anyone who believes the official teaching of the Roman Catholic Church, I just can't see them going to heaven. If they really believe knowingly, knowledgeably, just affirm what Roman Catholicism teaches in salvation, I can't see how they can be saved. What I want to do really fast is I want to read something to you, go over a little bit of scripture, and make a case for what the Bible says about salvation and the warning that the Bible includes about it, because I think it's really important that we check that out, that we do that, so that we can know. I mean, we don't like the idea of saying, well, someone as important as the Pope is not saved. That's just not something you want to just get up and say, and you better have reasons for it. Now, there's a lot of Catholics who are what's called sedevacantists, and they deny that the present Pope, well, he died yesterday, or today, they deny that there is a true papacy. They say it went apostate, I don't know, 50, 70 years ago, something like that, in the 60s, I think it was. And SETI, seat vacantus, vacant, the seat of the Pope is vacant, sedevacantus. They would also say a lot of the things that I would say, that the Catholic teaching is false. Now, what they would say, though, is even more restrictive. They would say that you have to be a member of the Catholic Church to be saved, and there's no salvation outside the Catholic Church. They're hardcore. It's kind of interesting that you get divisions inside of Catholicism like you do. But anyway, what I want to do is lay a case down for biblical soteriology. Soteriology is a doctrine of salvation. And one of the things I've been doing is working on templates and Let's see, you got that open? No, not that one. I did a video this weekend, and I'm doing a lot more. What I'm trying to do right now, just to get this really quickly, is I'm trying to set it up so I can get a lot of videos out quickly and just do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a day, things like this, and all kinds of topics, trying to figure out the best way and the easiest way. When you are the one who has to produce them, edit them, upload them, do all that kind of stuff, it really takes a lot of time. And it's just something I have to learn. I wish we had a video guy or girl that I could just say, look, here's the raw stuff, you take care of it. I'd pay them. I'd pay them a salary if we could get someone like that who knows what they're doing, and I could just do videos, put it up, and that they just take care of it, and they do a good job. We give them all the access and stuff. Anyway, it's a hope, but I'll tell you, it's difficult to find people who want to work on things like that, who don't have a full-time job already, and stuff. Anyway, it's just a lot of issues. So what I'm going to do is go through what the Bible says, and then what the official Roman Catholic theology says about salvation. And what I want to do is show you how bad Roman Catholicism is. And I'm not joking when I say bad. It really is bad. It is. I'm sorry, but it's just not a Christian organization. It's not Christian. And it promotes a false gospel, a false priesthood, and a false Mary. And it just does. One of the things that bothers me a great deal is Mark Wahlberg and the actor who plays Jesus in The Chosen. They're kind of teaming up, and both Catholics. And what really bothers me about The Chosen is that it's being used to promote Catholicism by people. Because Catholicism, it's Antichrist. I just have to say it. It's bad. And because mostly Christians don't know their theology very well, they don't know really what the matter is, what the issues really are, then they're, whatever, just another denomination. We're just not Catholic. Well, it's not like that. The Catholic Church teaches absolutely a false gospel. I'm going to prove it here in a little bit. I'm going to go through this and do stuff. What I'm going to do is go through some scriptures you know about and go through them slowly, do a little bit of teaching on this, and then in a bit we will get to what the Catholic Church teaches officially. And when I first started studying this stuff years ago, I was dumbfounded. And I said, how come no one told me this before? And then I found out that there were a lot of people who had found the same information and written books, and there's problems. Well, anyway, so we all know this. It says in Ephesians 2:8 and 9, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one may boast. Now I'm going to introduce a concept to you with Paul, and you got to understand this, is that okay, wait a second. Well, make sure we don't have a problem here. When Paul talks about law and faith and works and faith, he always separates them. It's always works or faith, not works with a little bit of faith or a little bit of faith with a little bit of works or whatever. He doesn't do it that way. He just says it's law or faith. Works or faith. That's how he speaks. It's very clear. So anyway, so he says here, you've been saved by grace through faith, not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one would boast. So the Bible clearly teaches that we are saved by faith, not by any form of works. Now, what I want to do is we're going to take a call here. I'm going to do that, and then we'll get to Romans chapter 4. And if you have a Bible or you have a phone thing, you want to follow along here in a few minutes, what I talk about on Romans 4, I'm going to go through it probably after the break, because it's going to take me 5 minutes or so straight talking just to get through it, to explain what's going on, and so that we can then get to some other verses and then get into what the Bible actually teaches and what Catholicism actually teaches. Let's get to Ebenezer from California. Ebenezer, welcome. You're on the air, buddy.
Hey, Matt. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I hear you fine. So what do you got?
Yeah, I'm good. So I came across this Church of Christ guy,
Mm-hmm.
on TikTok, and
Okay.
so he was talking about water baptism is necessary for salvation,
Uh-huh.
and so he made the argument that what did he say? He was like he said the baptism is is a profession of faith, as you know how we would say, in using Second Peter, how we would say baptism is the outward expression, I guess.
Yeah. Mhm. And so what did he tell
he
you?
was saying that,
So he was just saying he had to be
because
water
he was
baptized.
making an argument that because he would say he said just like how Peter would say baptism now saves you.
Yeah, 1 Peter 3:21.
Mhm. Yeah, it means what it says, and then he said that he said in Romans.
Well, hold on.
Acts.
Let's look at the verses one at a time. Okay. Because this is, I'm very familiar with the baptism arguments and stuff like that. What it says there in 1 Peter 3:21 is it says, corresponding to that, baptism now saves you, not the removal of dirt from the flesh, but an appeal to God for clean conscience through the resurrection of Jesus. So corresponding to that, baptism now saves you. Corresponding to what? Well, it has to do with what's in the preceding verse, and that is Noah's Ark and the people who escaped the flood. So what was it that that baptism relates to? Is it the water? Now, I don't believe it's the water of the flood, because that killed people. But the ark is the thing that saved them. Baptism is a trusting work where you enter into something, and it's the faith that saves you, which is why he says not to remove the dirt from the flesh, but an appeal. So I believe he's relating it to the ark and not to the water. So when the Church of Christ, what they'll do is they'll say, well, the Bible says in 1 Peter 3:21, baptism now saves you. They take it right out of context. They just remove the context so they can say what they want to say. All right, so go ahead. What's the next one?
No. And then he jumped to Romans 10. He jumped to Romans 10. And because he was jumping all over the place.
And which verse? Which verse in Romans 10?
Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
About baptism?
Romans.
There's no verse in Romans.
Because he was saying that the church in Acts didn't know about they didn't know something about they didn't know about baptism or something like that. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, in the book of Acts. Yeah. In the book of Acts.
Yeah. Something like that. Because I told him about how Philip, how when he preached to the Ethiopian eunuch.
Acts 8, yes.
He gave him the gospel first, and then he was baptized. But the emphasis wasn't on baptism.
Yeah.
You know.
So here, look. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, are you familiar with my website on carm.org?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would recommend you do is go there and read to the baptism section. We have the whole section on baptism and a lot of verses there. Now, we're going to break, so got to hold on. But there are ways to answer them, and I provide the verses they go to and how to look at them and give you responses. So hold on, buddy. We've got to break. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
What?
Oh, a wolf. Oh.
What about the tiny dog? Cat. Dolphin. What does the turkey say? Whale.
Yeah, whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe. 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 Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their ages.
It's winning. Only one prize per household, station, Truth Broadcasting within any 30-day period. The rest of our contest rules are listed under the About Us link at our website, truthnetwork.com. Thanks for playing and listening to the Truth Network.
My husband, Alex Hussey, was hit by an IED in Afghanistan.
I was a man on foot patrol and I stepped on the mob. Lost my legs and left hand in the explosion.
And he suffered a severe traumatic brain injury.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
There are so many mountains to climb, and we do it together.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
Seeing Alex learning how to snow ski, that's life-changing.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Alex did it. He skied down this mountain. That's something he won't forget.
With the right support, there are no limits.
To see him on that slope and smiling like that, we'll be taking this home.
This has meant so much. Thank you, DAV.
Alex Hussey, thank you for your service. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
I see you finally got a new helmet.
I did. Bought it cheap online. Follow me. We'll turn off here.
I'm right behind you.
Watch the cars. They can be crazy.
Was this young man hit by a car?
Yes, and his helmet is smashed.
It's a brand new helmet.
It's probably a fake. Fakes cause real harm. You're smart. Buy smart. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Let's get back on with Ebenezer. Are you still there, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. Here's one of the things I say to them that really throws them for a loop when they're talking about baptism is necessary for salvation. And I'll say, so you have to be fully immersed in water? And they'll say, yes. Was Jesus fully immersed in water at his baptism? And they say, yes. And I say, can you show me that in Scripture? But they can't. It doesn't say he's fully immersed. They go, well, that's what baptism means. I says, are you sure? You sure?
No, but he told me that because I said don't the Catholics believe that the water is necessary to save you?
No. Hold on. Let me finish the thought, okay? Because I believe Jesus was sprinkled at his baptism. Because I have the article on Carr, and it goes through the scriptures. He had to fulfill the law. That's what it says. That's why he was baptized. Matthew 3:15. To fulfill the law, to fulfill all righteousness. That's what it says. To fulfill what? Old Testament. Well, he entered into the priesthood at his baptism. He had to be 30 years of age, had to have oil anointed on him, which is the Holy Spirit, a verbal blessing given, my beloved Son, whom I'm well pleased. And according to the law, he had to be sprinkled with water. That's the law. Now, when I bring this up to people and I show it to them, especially the Church of Christ people, it really is a gut punch to them. They don't know what to do with this because they've never seen it before. And it's something to think about, okay?
Yeah. I want to write that down. Hold on. What passage did you say? Fulfill all righteousness.
That's Matthew 3:15. But you should go to my website, carm.org, and say why, and type in why was Jesus baptized. And
okay.
So I went through. I've done a very extensive study on this, where I looked up water in the Old Testament, and I looked at every instance in the entire thing, looking for anything about baptism. And then I went to the Pentateuch and did the same thing. I mean, I really looked. And there was no place where anyone entering into that priesthood ever was immersed in water. It was sprinkling. And then I did studies on baptized with, anointed with. So you're anointed with oil, you're sprinkled with blood, you're baptized with water. And I looked at the pattern. And so anyway, it's something that they can't handle, and most Christians can't handle it either. And then when people say that, like the Ethiopian eunuch was baptized, they say it means he was immersed. And I say, well, go look at it, because it says the eunuch and Philip both went into the water. Were they both immersed? Well, of course not. And so there's just things in there that people make assumptions too quickly, too easily. So if you were to go to the website and look up the issues of baptism, you have plenty of information that will give you a lot of ammo to counter their false doctrines. Okay? Okay? Okay, buddy? All right, man.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right. God bless. Okay. Talk to you later. Yeah, I know, folks. I just probably blew some people's minds, but that's what the scripture says, as far as I can see. Open to correction, but that's what it says. Jermaine from California. Hey, Jermaine, welcome back, buddy.
Oh, hey, Matt. I was enjoying that last conversation. I learned a little bit myself.
Well, I can go into it real deeply, but a lot of people, they're just not ready for it. They're not ready. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you about pacifism and scripture. It seems like some people take certain texts to mean that they are literally not supposed to defend themselves. I heard a story once where someone was literally watching a couple of men abuse their family, and they did nothing because they felt as if that violence was wrong in every capacity. And I actually kind of think that's going anti-Christian.
It is.
Based on what I read, I just did as a mandate, especially as a man and protector of your home, to at least give an effort to try and defend your family. But, I actually hear what you had to say on that, because I don't know what scripture they're actually holding to, people who do hold that particular view.
Yes, the idea is called pacifism, and it's biblical and it's also not biblical, depending on circumstances. I have an article written on CARM. Do Christians have the right of physical self-defense? Self-defense. Now, let's go through a few concepts, because what I did was I put summary points, 15 of them. So with scripture, physical self-defense is permitted, but it's not an obligation. And we're not talking about physical self-defense. We're going to get to the other, okay? We have the right and obligation to defend others. That's Psalm 82:4, Proverbs 24:11, Luke 22:36. So we have the right to defend ourselves, but not the obligation. If someone's persecuting you for your faith, you have the right to defend yourself, but you don't have the obligation to. You can just take it. But if someone else is being assaulted, now that steps in. Rescue the weak and needy, deliver them out of the hand of the wicked. Psalms 82:4. Proverbs 24:11 says, deliver those who are being taken away to death, and those who are staggering to slaughter, or hold them back. Jesus says in Luke 22:36, he says, but whoever has a money belt is to take it along, although likewise also a bag, and whoever has no sword is to sell his coat and buy one. And they understand that to be self-defense. But on the other hand, we're not to take vengeance. And I can give all the references. I'll just skip through giving the references. We are to seek peace whenever possible. We can flee to avoid persecution, pray for our persecutors, love our enemies, etc. We defend the true gospel. We're to resist evildoers. So, but we do have the obligation to defend others. So if you and I are walking along a road and we see some guy beating on somebody, we go over there and we stop him. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay? Right.
Yeah, I think that was crystal clear, and I agree with you. I just wanted to hear some developed thoughts on it. Is it possible that some of those people are just convicted enough to just not want to participate at all? I'm trying to use another word besides cowardice, because I do think some people fall in that category, but is it possible that some folks just feel convicted enough to say they just don't want to do anything?
Well, yeah, there are people who don't want to do anything, and according to their conscience, they don't. Now, my own brother, I have two brothers. I'm the oldest, and one of them, my middle brother, he's a freak when it comes to strength. He's one of those rare guys. He can lift people up and throw them. He's like 6'3", 300 pounds. And okay. So I asked him once, I said, if you come home and someone's beating on your wife, what are you going to do? You going to stop him? And he says, well, I'll stop him gently. I said, okay. I mean, I wouldn't be gentle, but people have different convictions, Hey, hold on, buddy. We've got a break, okay? So hold on. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned.
Who's ready to take the Happy Resurrection Challenge?
True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author of the book, Last Words of Jesus.
It's a great time of year to wish folks a happy resurrection. Now, I know you like to say happy Easter, and I'm not saying don't stop saying that, but why not say happy resurrection this time of year? What a great celebration. What a great time to point people out to what really happened when Jesus Christ conquered death. The serpent crusher emerged victorious from the grave and changed everything. So instead of saying happy Easter, take the Happy Resurrection Challenge and say happy resurrection. You see, that tomb is empty, so your life doesn't have to be. Thanks to the risen Lord. And if it happens to be after the Resurrection Day celebration, you can still say happy resurrection and wait for those questions to come and be ready with an answer. Happy resurrection. Death is defeated, Jesus is alive, and he's coming again.
True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author of the book, Last Words of Jesus. Available now in bookstores. Learn more at lastwordsofjesus.com.
Hi, I'm Fuad Reves. I'm a home builder. And I have a question for all of you out there who are building your dream home. Are you making plans so your home will have healthier indoor air? It's an important question because there's a deadly invisible radioactive gas that can seep into homes from underground. It's radon gas, and when you breathe it in, it can cause lung cancer. Among non-smokers, radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer. The good news is that it's simple to build a home, so radon is not a problem. Building your home radon resistant is a good, inexpensive way to stop radon from entering your home. Any builder can do it. So protect your family. Talk to your builder. Tell them you want a healthier, safer dream house. You'll have better dreams.
Learn more. Visit the EPA at epa.gov/radon. That's epa.gov/radon. This public service announcement is brought to you by the EPA, who does not endorse this particular builder or any other commercial enterprise.
There are places with people in this world that are without any hope. That is, until Mercy Ships arrives. Mercy Ships is a place restoring sight to the blind, healing to the deformed, acceptance and help to the outcast, and love to the brokenhearted.
And many times you can almost see the life coming back into them. Can't beat that.
Mercy Ships is the largest floating civilian hospital in the world, staffed with some of the most skilled volunteer medical professionals and crew. Mercy Ships brings hope, healing, and love to the lost and forgotten in the world. To learn more, go to mercyships.org.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. Bottom of the hour, let's get back on with Jermaine. Is still there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay. So I hope that helped. Hope that helped.
It helped a lot, especially the visual of your oversized brother coming home and gently beating somebody up. But I think for the most part, for for me, I do believe you have a responsibility to protect life, and whether it's yours or someone else's. I think that's the most biblical thing I could find.
Right. Yeah, we do. We have that obligation, so we need to do that. In fact, when I carry and I go into stores, I conceal carry. I often just map out the place. What would I do if I hear this or I hear that? Would I run forward towards the problem or away from it? Just depending on situations. Because if a gunman comes in, let's say, is shooting, if I'm up with my wife, I'm getting her out. If I'm by myself, I'm the kind of guy where I'm going to move forward towards it. I don't know if I would or not. It's a real situation because you don't know what you're going to do until you're there. But I'm the kind of guy who does that. Who moves forward. So to help others. So, I believe it's an obligation within reason to be able to do that. Now, about my brother, he could gently stop someone from injuring somebody else by picking them up with one arm and holding them out by his neck and walking them outside and throwing them across the yard. If he's one of those kind of guys. But the average Joe can't do that, So, but to take different means. Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to get to talk with you tomorrow, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
All right, buddy. God bless, man. God bless. All right. Now let's get to the next longest waiting is Jake from Florida. Jake, welcome. You are on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Awesome. Hey, so I'm a grad student here in Florida, and at my university, every so often, I think his name is Alex. They come and do some open air preaching, and I got into a conversation, and I think we really started to talk about evolution, and then he said, "Oh yeah, Matt Slick would be a good person to talk to about that." And so finally have found the time to call in and just, I guess, basically ask why, I guess, and we can reframe the question depending on, circumstances, but why should I not accept evolution is the way I framed it.
Sure. Well, let's define our terms. How do you define evolution?
So the way that I've generally characterized evolution is small incremental changes in the allelic frequencies of a population over time,
right?
That eventually leads to speciation.
Right. Now, the problem with this is that information is intertwined genetically. So about protein folds, right, in alleles and stuff like this.
Yes.
Okay, so then that when the folding pattern of folding has to be super importantly located precisely, because when certain areas of the DNA combine with other areas, then you get a new something coming up. It's really complicated. And so when you say minor, put it this way, when you say minor variations, okay, you know what the term deleterious means? Hidden harmful effects. You know about this, right? Deleterious. So,
yeah.
Okay, so genetic mutations are uniformly deleterious. Now, sometimes they'll say, well, something is beneficial, but yes and no. So let's back up. Let's just say that there's an organism with 100 genetic units, 100 genetic units. Like a sparrow or a finch, it doesn't matter. A flock of birds of one species get, that was weird. Wow, this also didn't reflected. Wow, that's weird. Sorry, in my computer monitor, and then I could look at the window behind me, something weird just went by. So I got a little distracted, sorry. So let's just say a flock of these birds, 100 pairs, gets blown off into an island, and they're the only birds there. All right. And so then they propagate throughout the entire island, and let's say there's 10,000 breeding pairs in 50 years, let's just say, okay. And then there's a drought, and the drought causes the nuts that they eat to have harder shells. And so therefore, it's harder for the birds to get to the nuts for food, okay? So then what we have is we have standard mutations appearance manifestation that is by randomness, that are already there extant in the genome. It's already there. So when a bird is born with a thin bill, he can't break the nuts, he dies out. The thick-billed ones, the stronger-billed ones, they can get the food, they can survive. So what we see here is a reduction of the gene pool in order for that species to survive. A lot of times what people forget is that speciation often occurs by the reduction of genetic information, not the increase. Not always, but that's one of the things that people see. And they don't understand that it's a reduction. Well, the issue is, where did the information come from in the first place? Well, some people say that randomness provides new genetic information that then is propagated through a species in a certain area, and it propagates. Well, there's problems with that, and there's humongous problems with it. In fact, you should do research on something called the mathematical challenges to the neo-Darwinian theory of evolution. The mathematics doesn't support the theory of evolution because the genetic information frequency change needed, there's not enough time in the physical universe for not just speciation, because that's different, but phylogeneration. There's not enough time. And you know the difference is phyla and species, right?
Yes.
Okay. So propagation of new genetic information is not isolated to one set or one area of it in the genome. It has to be propagated through all areas. So a larger bill on a bird also has to have the musculature attached to it, the tendons attached to it, and the brain function that's attached to it, and the bone function that can handle it as well. So there's multiple necessities that have to be involved when a very, 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 very slight modification occurs. But if you're going to talk about phyla change, that's humongously difficult. And mathematics just pokes holes in it all over the place, because what they do is they start, I don't understand the math, but I read some articles on it. And the mathematicians who get into this biological information of information formation and transformation and propagation through a species, they say there's not enough time. It doesn't work. But this information is kind of buried, okay? So there's that. Information is the Achilles heel of evolution. Where does it come from? How is it propagated? What defines evolution? Why is it that certain informational propagations are beneficial and not harmful? And how many per se are beneficial, so to speak, that are not deleterious? When you get the minutia of a beneficial mutation, which can occur, and then you want to move it towards phylogeneration, the mathematics just says, no. I remember one article, it needs like 240 billion years. 240 billion for it to work. I mean, it's ridiculous. Here, let me just jump around. Have you ever heard of the Cambrian explosion? You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Well, the Cambrian explosion, from the, it can be anywhere from 5 to 35 million years, low to long. So I just do an average. Let's just say 20 million years, 25 million years, that the Cambrian explosion. When you go to the rock strata and you look at the beginning of the Cambrian explosion, suddenly 40 new body types, new phyla, suddenly appear in the rock strata with no transitionals before, all over the world. How's that possible? It's not possible. 40 new body types suddenly appear at the beginning, not gradually through 20 million years of the Cambrian explosion, at the beginning of it, instantly, so to speak. There's that. Want to hear another problem?
Sure.
Carbon-14 has a half-life of 5,730 years, which means that by 100,000 years, an organism that's absorbed it through eating, respiration, etc., it doesn't produce it itself, has to come in from outside the organism. Within 100,000 years, there'll be no carbon-14 left in anything that was once alive. So if you have a squirrel that dies, you can measure how long it was, how long it's been dead, by how much carbon-14 it has in it. After 100,000 years, technically it's 93,000, but after 100,000 years, there is none. This is why they can use radiocarbon or carbon-14. But the problem is diamonds And coal shales, which are millions and millions and millions of years old, have carbon-14 in them. That can't be explained by the evolutionary theory. This is just one of the problems. Hold on, babe. We've got a break. Be back. We'll share some more with you. Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Each word is a testimony.
A million of my mistakes, so couldn't keep your love away. However far away from home, that's how far we'll go.
And his word is always true on the Truth Network.
Okay, I'll be right there, guys. Hey, oh, Deb, come on in. I thought you were the radon test guys. The who test guys? Didn't you see the paper Sunday? The Surgeon General issued another warning. Oh, like the cigarette warning? Exactly. Only now they're saying radon causes lung cancer. For non-smokers like us, radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer.
You're kidding me, right? I have a smoke-free home and my family can still get cancer from radon?
Yep. That's why the Surgeon General says every home should be tested for radon.
But I don't smell any radon in my house.
No, nobody can smell radon. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. It just comes up from underground and seeps into your house.
Oh, great.
No, hey, it's no big deal. Even if they find high levels of radon, it can easily be fixed. My brother just had his house fixed. Now that's the radon test guys.
So how did you find them?
First, you go to the EPA website.
Learn more. Visit the EPA at epa.gov/radon. That's epa.gov/radon.
Mommy, I'll get it. Oh, I'll be right there.
Me too.
Who's ready to take the Happy Resurrection Challenge?
True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author of the book, Last Words of Jesus.
It's a great time of year to wish folks a happy resurrection. Now, I know you like to say happy Easter, and I'm not saying don't stop saying that, but why not say happy resurrection this time of year? What a great celebration. What a great time to point people out to what really happened when Jesus Christ conquered death. The serpent crusher emerged victorious from the grave and changed everything. So instead of saying happy Easter, take the Happy Resurrection Challenge and say happy resurrection. You see, that tomb is empty, so your life doesn't have to be, thanks to the risen Lord. And if it happens to be after the Resurrection Day celebration, you can still say happy resurrection and wait for those questions to come and be ready with an answer. Happy resurrection. Death is defeated, Jesus is alive, and he's coming again.
True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author of the book, Last Words of Jesus. Available now in bookstores. Learn more at Last Words. It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Let's get back on with Jake from Florida. Jake, are you still there?
Yeah.
You want some more information, more stuff? I'm just throwing it out quickly, but you want some?
I mean, sure.
Okay. Do you trust mathematics? Is it good? Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say good or bad, but it is something that I accept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with exponential notation?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean like when something is at an exponential scale relative to a logarithmic one?
It could be. But it basically exponential notation is
Yeah.
just simply 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 5th, 10 to the 7th. You know, it's exponents, right?
Oh, yeah. I use that all the time. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a theoretical number, a maximum number of events that could occur in the universe. It's called the universal probability bound. Theoretical number. That's all it is. The fastest rate a particle can change its state is 10 to the 40th times per second. I don't understand why, what, who, what. Just read this stuff. It's the fastest it can change. It's not possible to go any faster. The number of, if the universe, they say it's 14.3 billion years old, let's assume it's 18 billion years old. and convert that into seconds. That's coincidentally 10 to the 18th seconds. And there's roughly 10 to the 80th particles in the universe. Now, it's a high estimate. I think they said 10 to the 78th, but the 10 to the 80th, make it easy. So how many potential events could occur in the entire universe if it was 18 billion years old and every particle in the entire universe was changing its state? I think it's a valence state at the maximum rate, which is next to the Planck's constant. What's the maximum rate it can do it? It's 10 to the 40th. The maximum number of events would be 10 to the 138th power. That's it, 10 to the 138th. If every particle in the entire universe for 18 billion years was maximally changing its state, up, down, whatever it is, 10 to the 138th power. It's an immensely huge number, okay? Now, deoxyribonucleic acid, okay, DNA, we have adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. A, T, and GC, they go together. So you have 4 combos. AT and TA, GC and CG. 4. So in the helix, which is the helix, the twist is formed by the sugar phosphate bond, where the nucleotide bond pairs of the adenine guanine, for example, AG, will form. You know, they can form, and then they can form AG or GA. They're flipped, right, inside the helix. So when it's like a ladder. If you have a ladder and it has, and we'll just take the helix and flatten it out because it's no big deal, it's just flattened out. And you look at each step on a ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4, because you have AT or TA, GC, and CG. So you have 4 possibilities, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just say we have these steps in this ladder numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we have a kabillion of each, just sitting over in a big pile. Now, the smallest number of nucleotide bond pairs that I've read about that they say it still has life exists in a virus, and it's something like 230,000 nucleotide bond pairs. 230,000. That's just the DNA strand. That's not even the the chromosomes arrangement or the gene sequencing or anything, gene formation or expression even. So anyway, what's the mathematics behind this? Well, it'd be simple. The odds of the first step being 1, 2, 3, or 4 is 1/4 or 0.25. The next one is 0.25, next is 0.25. So real simple. So what would the odds of any particular arrangement of those steps be in something 220,000 steps? Well, it'd be 0.25 to the 220,000th power. And that's just to get a particular arrangement. Well, randomness, we can get any arrangement we want, but it has to be met with RNA when it does a sequence splitting. It has to be met with a reader that comes in and understands what's happening when the sequences divide and do their generation thing. All right.
Yeah.
So when this happens, it's information. Information doesn't exist if there's no receiver. If there's only a sender, but there's nothing transmitted and nothing received, it's not information. It's nothing. Like the word cat. If CAT was the only thing in the universe, it's not a word because there's no minds to read. There's nothing. It's just there. And the same thing with the information that's in the sequence that has to be read and the mathematics about it, that it working, is so astronomically against probability that it exceeds the universal probability bound by the exponential notation of tens of thousands of places. It's humongously and unfathomably deeply problematic. This is just to get into certain sequences. Then they have to be combined. Then they have to be read. When people say, well, it's just randomness that just kind of works because it's the properties of matter. And I say, oh, so life comes from non-life and information comes from non-information. They'll say, yes. I say, we call that magic. That's called magic. Life comes from non-life. Information comes from non-information. We know of no places where information exists without intelligence. Nothing. Let me just sidestep. Did you know that evolution requires millions of years in order for it to, so to speak, theoretically work? Millions and millions of years. The Pleistocene rock layer, by just observational positioning, there's some, I've got this out of the Principles of Isotope Geology, 2nd edition in 1986. And rock layer positioning is 1.6 million years old, but the rubidium strontium method is 773 million years old. Potassium argon of the upper Miocene to Pliocene lava, 5 to 9 million years, but rubidium strontium gave 31 to 39. There's humongous, and this is, I'm only reading just two, there's many stratigraphically problematic evidences. Then there's what's called polystrate fossils. Polystrate fossils. People are, bulldozing roads through mountainsides, a mountain pass, and there's a geologist can go out there and do a field test. Look it over there, 600 million years of rock strata right there. Whatever it is, and they'll keep bulldozing, and then there's a single tree fossilized through 600 million years of rock strata. But this information is suppressed. Did you know that basically all of hominid ancestors, not hominoid, but hominid. Hominoid could be primates of all types, but hominid is supposedly only okay. They can be of the hominid ancestors in the human line. You can fit all of them on a pool table, the size of a pool table.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
That all of the hominid ancestors for humans, that fossil evidence, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they could all fit on a single pool table. This is where they get all the human evolution stuff from.
Yeah, there's definitely been more evidence corroborated since then. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe 2 pool tables. You'd think after millions and millions of years all over the world, you'd think, hey, wait a minute. There should be a lot more all over. Transitional forms. And that's a whole other problem is transitionals. Like Archaeopteryx. And because you know what that is, Archaeopteryx, it's a reptile-ish bird.
Yeah.
And they say it's a transitional form. Well, I was in my geology class, raised my hand. How do you know? Get this, because it looks like it. Or Eohippus, right? They would go through the small horses to the big horses. They'd say, see that? And they say, see, that's how evolution works. And I'd say, how do you know those are related? Because they look like it. I say, let me get this straight. They look like it. And that's why it's a scientific fact, because it looks like it. That's it. Looks like it. Plus, in the Eohippus line, geologically, a couple of the transitionals, supposed transitionals, are swamped. They get bigger, small, bigger, small, bigger, like this. There's all kinds of stuff, man. There's all kinds of stuff. Soft fossil tissue has been found in those fossils 80 million years old. How can you have fresh tissue? And also, there's a video out I just saw over the weekend, or on Thursday night actually, where a guy learned how to make fossils in his garage. 4,000 pounds of pressure and a lot of heat, and he put fish in and some stuff. He goes, "He just wanted to see if he could do it. That's all." Hey. And he learned how to make fossils. And he took some fossils to some geologists. And what do you think of this? Well, I don't know what kind of fish it is, but it's 150 million years old. I made it in my garage 2 weeks ago. Then there's what's called genetic drift. Some years ago, it was discovered that human DNA has a high mutation rate and is deteriorating at an alarming rate. Mutations galore. Humans have high mutation rates, but why worry? Scientific American. Why worry? Because in supposedly 200 to 250 generations down the line, the human genome will no longer be viable because of the mutations that creep in. Accumulates 90,000 errors in just 6,000 years. That's 0.003% of our DNA becomes inoperative less than 10,000 years. By 6 million years, 3% of our DNA, or 1 every 33 pieces of code, would be damaged. How could such a life form exist? And if it goes backwards 6 million years old, you have problems. It doesn't work. I'm telling you, man, there's lots of evidence out there against evolution. In fact, there's an increasing number of scientists who have more degrees than a thermometer who are rejecting evolution. It just isn't working. Have you ever heard of epigenetics by any chance?
Yes.
You know, it's kind of Lamarckian if you ask me, but epigenetics, where did the information come from, and why is it that environments can activate or deactivate genes, which then can produce different body types that people can say are microevolutionarily related in the fossil record, when they're really not, because it's just epigenetically related. You see the problems? I mean,
Yeah,
just give you
epigenetics. Yeah, I'm not a big expert in epigenetics. I think it's a fascinating area of study, but yeah, there's definitely more to understand with respect to that. Like, and you know, I don't want to comment on things that I'm not.
Hey, buddy.
I don't have strong expertise with.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, we're out of time, man. There's the music behind you. We got to go. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, call back, man, and talk to Alex sometime. And God bless, buddy. Okay,
Yeah.
gotta go. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for
Have
calling.
a good one.
Okay, you too. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Charlie.
Yeah, got you loud and clear. Good show.
All right.
It went so fast, I lost track of things.
I know. We had a full house, callers waiting, but I wanted to get through the evolution stuff.
Oh, yeah. Glad you did.
Okay.
Yeah, it gave me a chance to post some pretty good articles, I think, on the topics you were mentioning.
Good. Ah. All right. One of the things I like about spring, summer, autumn, when the weather's warm enough,
yeah,
I can take walks around the neighborhood. I like that. I'm going to do that. It's perfect weather here right now. Perfect.
You know what I
All right,
forgot
let's
to do today?
What's that?
I forgot to put in the invitation link to the room.
Okay.
I did. I put it out there, Charlie. I didn't do the nice wording on it. I just put the StreamYard link in.
Okay.
So anybody who is watching, they have opportunity, whether you're in X or YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, they have the opportunity to just click on the StreamYard link and come on.
Yep. I'm going to put it in there right now.
Okay.
Just because I forgot. Sorry about that. First, I'm going to put it over here. I think I'm watching an X. That looks like X. That's my first time posting anything in X. There we go. Yeah. For you guys in X, as we move through the show, I try to post links to articles that are topical to what the caller's calling about, because the show is caller driven as far as the topics go. And you can go to those articles and spend a lot of time with your Bible open, more taking a deeper dive into the subject being discussed. And then, of course, the invitation link I just posted to the after show is where we are now, and you're invited to come in and join us. And we're not bound by the time constraints of the live terrestrial radio format with commercials and stuff. So you can come in here and relax with us. All you need is a microphone. You don't need a camera like I have, although you probably wish I didn't have a camera, but that's okay. Are you muted, Matt?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to stop me.
No biggie.
Yeah, you're welcome in here. Of course, there's a big delay I noticed on the X. On my end, there's a delay, so I'm not sure how it works on their end. But I do know some of the social platforms do have a delay, whereas you and I and Laura here are real time with each other. Of course, they can always type in the chat and get a question to you. Maybe I can ask you, Laura, since this is my first time posting an X. I see my posts, but how would I see if anybody's answering me?
Okay, I'll type in there.
I see your comments. So
yeah. So if anybody was commenting, we see it. Sometimes we see it in StreamYard. It doesn't always show up in StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
So it's just kind of really iffy. So
no, I mean, I'm looking at directly at X for comments. Or let's see what it says. Yeah, I see your comments in the chat, the X chat. But so far, I don't see anybody else commenting in the X chat.
No, and we usually have maybe one comment a week, maybe. And so hopefully we can encourage more people who are listening, because right now we have got on X 69 people who are watching, and so maybe we can encourage them to go into the chat and to chat with us. If they've got questions, they can ask questions in there. I will copy the questions, put them in a document so that Matt can address those. And as well as Charlie putting in links or I will, whatever, so that if you want to do some more research on things that Matt is discussing, you have that information. And so yeah, share it and let's see if we can get some people in here who are chatting. And
yeah, there's the link for you, Robert.
7 o'clock.
Biblical.
Okay, well,
I muted you. All I can hear is people in the background. We can't hear anything, so I muted you.
And Robert from Slovenia, for people that don't know, this thing goes worldwide, and
that's right.
We're always happy when Robert joins us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I wanted to sorry. I wanted to share the encouragement. Many years ago, I searched on Google, what must I do to be saved? So one of the results was the web page from, if I'm right, the ministry that you mentioned. I mean, the fake Christian web page that you met was explaining today the links in the chat on Facebook. International Church of Christ, if I'm correct. They claimed that you have to be also baptized. Later, I also learned that you have to be baptized in their church. So I came with this strange idea to the Sunday church, and our pastor finally pointed me to your webpage, carm.org. So through it, I learned what they teach, okay, and what are the heresies that they teach on Carm webpage. So
yeah, a lot of people think it's strange that they teach baptism must be is a salvation issue, but they don't go even further to know that they don't recognize anybody's baptism but theirs as being authentic. So they're doubly confused, and they confuse, new Christians all the time with that kind of stuff. And it's they are very warped in their view. They're very warped.
yeah, so after that, I don't know how much time passed, but then I started to even listen to the radio and even call in sometimes.
That's great. We're glad you do. Matt has an article on that topic. I think I'll post it in there for anybody else who's wondering about how it is that the Lord saves you. I'll post it here. I'll post it in X, and I'll post it in Rumble. I don't know how many people are aware of we can be watched on Rumble as well. But there you go.
A week or two ago, Matt said that he'll be on, I think, on Discord, but I was kind of hovering all over Discord. I didn't know exactly where to find the audio room where you would be communicating. So after 2 hours, I said I have enough, so I went to bed.
Yeah, that happens to me too, because Discord for me is a little bit difficult to navigate. And I know exactly what you're saying. I've done the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually working on a counter argument to something raised against free will and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's why I'm a little bit distracted, but okay. So Bill is here. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Hanging in there.
I had a room in Clubhouse earlier called "Is Pope Francis resting in peace or burning in hell?" And these Catholics come up and it's like, "How dare you say that?" I gave you two options: either resting in peace or he's in hell. I know that's kind of rude, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't believe he's in heaven.
Yeah, and I told this guy, "Well, you got two options. I don't care what you say, but it's either one or two."
I just assume it has to be. He's such a good man.
Yeah,
he's in heaven. Okay, you can assume it.
Yeah, and that goes for everybody. All 7 billion people on this planet.
That's right. Ah. Hey, biblicist. Okay. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the stuff I did on evolution. I was just throwing stuff out, and there's a lot more.
Oh, I wanted to share this information with you. There's a branch of ministry in UK covering the Europe area, and the guy who is running it did cooperation with I think Kent Hovind from what's this creation something. They did something together in America to challenge students. They were offering $1,000 award if or maybe 10,000, I'm not sure, to if they managed to present evolution as true or deny the creation of the world or something like that. If I may mention the name of the ministry.
Sure.
It's Living Waters Europe, John Harris.
Oh, I didn't know they had a Europe branch. Good.
Yeah, and he was in States working on the street with like a challenge for students. It's all somewhere. I guess they have YouTube videos of it, shorter and longer. Different settings where students are, or even they're trying to communicate back and forth about evolution. Similarly to what you did today. I mean,
Good.
on this topic,
Okay. Yeah, I've got notes and stuff. I just go through and read, and there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be brought out that a lot of people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And working on some responses to some stuff.
You know, Matt, we have 129 people watching right now.
Ooh, good.
I thought I'd cheer you up.
Hey, everybody. How you doing out there? And let's see. Xland. I guess Facebook also. Let's see what other ones there are out there. Facebook, Carm Videos, Carm.org, Facebook. So we got YouTube, X. Good. Facebook.
Matt Live, yep. So we've got what? We've got 86 people watching on X right now.
Oh, there we go.
And we have 18 people on Rumble. So yeah.
Good. Yeah, gonna put those in. We gotta get stuff out. You know, one of the things I worked on today is I know that Hootsuite can send one thing to multiple platforms, but what we need is a thing like Hootsuite that can take a video and then adapt it to multiple platforms. So the 1 minute videos that are, just short, so it had to be this big, that big, like this for different platforms. I found a service that'll do that.
Okay, I've sent article titles and links with your attached videos to some of the articles you have.
Good.
They go out.
Yeah. This is so I can do a video and then put it up in one place, then have this thing take it and it modifies it for the structure and the style that needs to be for different ones. Otherwise, you got to, it becomes laborious. But yeah, that's what I'm looking into.
Will it structure it for a computer screen and automatically for a phone screen?
No. For Twitter size, YouTube Reels, Pinterest, Hootsuite, not Hootsuite, other things like that.
Sure. Yeah. Did you already buy it?
No. I'm researching it to see if it's working. And I had to that's why I had to get passwords today to put it in. It said you could do 7 days free and you can work it. And so you have to do these things. And so that's what I'm trying to do is all that.
Did you change the X password too? That's why I can't get in?
I don't think I did, but let me check.
So I've been having to do stuff on my own.
All right.
Be able to get into X.
Let me see. Don't think I did, but I may have I think I did actually.
Okay,
So-
you'll have to text it to me. Don't put it in the private chat because
Right.
other people will be able to see it.
There it is on your phone. So it'll if you do a video for, let's say, YouTube Reels, it'll then go take that video, from what I understand, and then it will shape it and do a couple things to it and send it out to other venues. Becomes very efficient. That's what I'm researching.
Okay, that is a different password. So yeah.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to change it, because it's like, hey, but so I'm keeping a record now of everything, which I thought I had, but that's what I'm doing anyway. So that, yeah. So I still haven't been able to figure out the Facebook one yet, and the TikTok one.
Yeah, I never had the Facebook one. I'm just I can get on there and do everything I want under you, but
Okay.
just because how Facebook is set up, so
Okay.
I couldn't help you that way.
Okay, well, good. I'm going to get going then.
Well, I've noticed on my end there's a huge delay on X. Is that normal? Do you get the same thing, Laura?
Actually, every single one of them are different. The delays. Facebook is different. YouTube is different. Rumble's different. The weird thing too is I can have YouTube open for Carm Videos and Matt Slick Live, and they're both still offset from each other. So it's just odd.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Excuse me. Man, I'm always doing stuff. All right. Okay, well,
thank you for showing me how to use X. It looks like a wonderful platform.
Hey, I was thinking about something that reminds me. I don't know why, but it does. So in October, Carm will be 30 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I was thinking of doing a get-together someplace. I was thinking Denver or even Salt Lake City, or maybe even here. But the idea of I wonder if people would be interested in doing a get-together, just a bunch of Carmites, nothing really big. We just get together, have a nice meeting at a hotel or a church room or something like that, going to meet each other, say hi. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if anybody would want to do that. But when we had our 20-year anniversary of Carm, it was fantastic. We had food. You were there, right, hey, Charlie?
Oh, yeah. It was a hoot.
It was awesome. Yeah. Oh, we lost him. Oh, and Anique, she arranged so much stuff. She worked it hard. And we had food. We had a great venue. And then Ryan, he satirized? He roasted me.
He did, and he nailed you as far as impersonation. He got it. I mean, perfect.
It was so good, and he was imitating me. My crinkly bottle problem, and just idiosyncrasies I didn't even know I had. He was doing them, and just stuff, and it was so funny. I was howling. A couple of people go, that didn't bother you? Go, no, because it's true. It's all true. Why would I be upset about it? It was funny. And,
I hope you recorded that and you'll let me have a copy one day.
Yeah, it's recorded. I don't know where it's recorded though, but we got it someplace.
Matt,
Likely story. That's convenient.
Yeah.
Matt, can you check your phone and type me in the code that just got sent to you so that I can just type it into private chat so that I can
Okay.
actually get into X now?
Okay. Okay. In your phone, here it goes.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, anyway, it was great. And it was a lot of work, but it was really good. It really was. She did a great job.
Yeah, we need to do something similar again. Who hosted that one? Aviation Fellowship let us use their facilities?
Yeah, Mission Aviation Fellow. Yep.
Yes.
But I was thinking, just thinking about it, if it would be a good idea, maybe I think Denver's a nice center part of the country, but then you got to find, you got to fly there, get a car, drive to a hotel, and have a hotel room that we could do. That's one option. Another option is maybe a church would open up their doors, or maybe in Salt Lake. Salt Lake's pretty good too. Good area. So it's a thought. I don't know if you guys think it's a good idea or not. Let me ask people in Rumble or anybody else, if you're listening, would you be interested in attending something like that? You'd probably, I'd probably give a little speech or something like that. Have people come up, give testimonies, just be able to meet, eat. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. We'll see if anybody's interested.
I think most people who are around are more East Coast.
Yeah.
Texas, North Carolina. We've got Virginia. It's a lot of it's back east. Is most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cincinnati's pretty centrally located, where the ARC experience is.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay, well, heck. We'll see. Keep thinking about it. And don't see any comments. Okay. No big deal. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Go check on.
Okay. Well, thanks. Hopefully, now that I know where X is, we can encourage people to come in same time tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Well, God bless everybody.
You too. Thank you, Matt.
All right. We'll see you.
God bless your ministry.